guys, greetings from my laundry room, and once again Selamat Hari Raya to all our Muslim friends. So today going to do another Q&A video. There's not been much in the way of news since my last Q&A video as well, because it's been Raya. I think I saw a couple of news releases of brands announcing their showroom openings and all that, but you have heard this all before. Okay, it's all a matter of reopening the showrooms. It's all SOPs, by appointment, temperature taking. The test cars will be disinfected, the display cars will be disinfected. If you're going for service, your car will be disinfected as well. All right. Yeah, so I'm jumping straight to Q&A, and the first comment that I'm seeing here comes from the man. He commented on my BMW diesel video, the one where when I almost covered Peninsula Malaysia on one tank of fuel. And another question for your Q&A video, this one regarding the new 8 series, and I think it's fantastic. But fantastic as a 6 series, not an 8. I mean, the E39 at the time was so much more imposing than the 5 and the 7 that it really looked like it was a tier above. It looked like a proper Halo car, and this new 8, it looks good, but I don't think it has anywhere near the visual presence or impact to justify the 8 series badge. Maybe they want to go hunting after Aston or Bentley customers, hence the name, but I'm not sure if moving the 8 series name down is a better bet than stepping the 6 series name up. Your view? Fully agree. That's the thing. I mean, the 6 series, as it was a segment leading product. There was nothing in the segment that could challenge it. BMW had a segment all to itself. Audi never had a proper competitor for the 6 series. The Mercedes E-Class, appealed to an entirely different audience. The previous Gen E-Class Coupe was based on C-Class platform. So, in practice, it really was a lower segment product. The new E-Class Coupe, all right, the current one is based on the E-Class platform, but it too, it doesn't quite have the sporting tilt of the 6 series. So I would still have ranked the 6 series as a higher tier product versus the E-Class Coupe. But now you call it the 8 series. You are pitching this car. Forget about Bentley first. Let's talk about just even the S-Class Coupe. Even that also, the 8 series has problems. The 8 series has trouble measuring up because it's just not quite the same segment of product. And if you look at brand from it, if you look at it from a brand identity perspective, BMW does not have the same kind of branding clout like Mercedes-Benz beyond a certain segment. Like you see, right, in the C-Class, the E-Class, maybe even to a certain extent the S-Class, and of course the X family of SUVs, BMW will give Mercedes a real fight in its hands. But when you move into the ultra luxurious price bracket, when you want to take on the Aston Martin, the Bentleys, the Rolls Royces, BMW just does not have that brand identity that enables them to convincingly elevate themselves to that pedestal. Okay. Yeah, maybe it's because, and Audi the same too. Audi also, there is no way Audi will be able to build a car to rival Bentley, to rival Rolls Royce, to rival, who else is it? Aston Martin, the like. Whereas Mercedes, they can just pull off an S-Class Coupe. They can pull off a GLS. That car sits eye level with your Aston Martins, your Bentley Continental GTs, your Bentley Bentegas, you know, the like, and consumers can accept that. And the fact is, Mercedes can even pull off a hypercar. It can, you know, like their Project One car, for example. That car can legitimately challenge the Koenigsegg's, the Pagani Zondas of the world, you know, with credibly. But there is no way a BMW product will be able to carry that kind of challenge. Absolutely no way. Audi as well. So I think it was pointless for BMW to have even conceived of the idea of challenging, you know, even the S-Class Coupe or the Bentley Continental GT with a product like the 8 Series, because that doesn't, to me, they what would have been better is that if they had just, you know, further fine-tune the 6 Series formula. Well, yes, if you want to migrate the 5 Series Gran Turismo to the 6 Series nameplate, fine, go ahead, go have your 6 GTs. But I would say there is nothing that prevents BMW from continuing to sell the 6 Series Gran Turismo next to the 6 Series Coupe, next to the 6 Series Cabriolet, and next to the 6 Series Gran Coupe as well. Okay. Yeah, so those are my thoughts, and I fully agree with what you said. Okay, let's see. So Tommy Chu commented on my Pro Duo Nautica video. How about the market price now? Easy to get spare parts or not? Is it same spare parts with Toyota Rush? To answer that last question, yes, it shares parts with the Toyota Rush. And yeah, so parts in that sense will not be difficult. With the market price right now, I did a check on Muda and Kalis. I'm looking at examples between 22,000 ringgit to 30,000 ringgit, which is about 25-30% value retention from its brand new price of 90,000 ringgit. For your reference, a similar year Toyota Vios, which also sold at the same price, brand new, is ranging from how much? 17,000 to 38,000 ringgit. So the depreciation is there on par with a Vios. So if you want, so the Nautica, really, there aren't that many units available in the market, but they are well-built cars. I certainly remember back then, right? I was not in media yet, but I did go to the showroom and check the cars out. I came with a distinct impression that the Nautica was actually better built than the Rush that was being sold by UMW Toyota at the time. Maybe it's because of the sourcing. The Nautica was fully imported from Japan, whereas the Rush was imported from Indonesia. So that's the difference in terms of the build quality there. But yeah, I mean, it's a nice solid car. In a way, it could probably be a collector's item as well. Alright, so there were also a lot of questions regarding the Evo Enduro briefing that we made a few days back. So a lot of you guys were asking, you know, hey, is it safe? You know, will there still be MCO at the time? The honest answer is we don't know. Okay, but we felt it was right for us to put something out there, all right, something for people to look forward to. We are putting the light at the end of the tunnel. We want basically we want to give you guys that sense of hope, okay, something to look forward to once we emerge from this crisis. Yeah, to, you know, something positive. And of course, it is all subject to the lifting of MCO. As I record this, this is 27th of May. MCO is due to be lifted on 9th June, so we'll see how that goes. Personally, I'm anticipating even when MCO lifts, even if MCO lifts, based on the latest statistics, right, even though the numbers are climbing, but local transmission within the community is now, as today, is down to 4 cases. So, you know, based on that, there is a good chance, if the number of infections do not spike up again, there is a good chance that that MCO may well indeed be lifted by 9th of June. Okay, but I suspect they will still keep the state border controls tight for a bit longer, and our international borders to remain tightened for an even longer period of time. And that means that anybody that comes into the country will be subject to 14 days of quarantine. Now, of course, if that is still happening by the time of our proposed dates, we will be postponing the trip. But the fact is, we do not know when. So we want something there. Say now, okay, guys, this is what we are planning. It is of course subject to change due to circumstance. But even if, let's say, if our plan, if those dates turn out to be non-workable, what's going to happen is we will then move the dates of Enduro, but the intention is to follow the itinerary that we have laid out for you guys to see over the presentation. Okay, so definitely we are hoping it will happen. We are planning for it to happen, but if it turns out that the situation is not safe by then to travel, of course we won't. But let's just pray hard that we do, and which is why it's important for everybody right now, all of us, to do our part for this moment, to continue to observe good social distancing, to keep the infection numbers down, so that the time for us to the time when it's safe to travel again, that day will arrive sooner rather than later. Because if say if any of us are carrying the infection and we go and spread that infection out to other people, we start a whole new chain of infections, and one thing will lead to another, and who knows, it might even lead to another wave of lockdown. So we do not want that to happen. We want things to improve, and it is very important. That's why that even if, as we gradually work towards the restoration of our freedoms, we should continue to exercise caution. We should continue to exercise good hygiene practice, good social distancing practices, and hopefully we will emerge from this unscathed as soon as possible. Okay, yeah. So Sean Yong commented on one of my E39 videos. Is it worth getting as a second car? Currently have a first generation Myvi and wanted to get another bigger family car. Need advice, thanks. E39 is absolutely worth to get as a second car, or as your only car, or as your third car, or your fourth car, whatever. Of course, I'm not going to bluff you. The initial restoration costs will not be cheap. So hunt for a good example, okay, and prepare to spend a bit on restoration during the early months of your ownership. And once you get past that initial phase of pain, the car would serve you well for years to come, of course, provided you take care of it, service and all that. Okay, but having lived with it for the last 18 months or so, the E39 has been nothing short of a fantastic machine. It has been reliable. To me, it has been reliable. I have absolutely no regrets buying that car. And Cool Calf also commented on my BMW diesel video. I think you should try it. I mean, talking about me considering the prospect of owning a diesel car, I guess. As I have got an X1 X-Drive 20D, it's very different compared to the petrol. The response on the car is very good. With the torque it has, it is amazing. Thanks for the feedback. Mike Cole commented on the same video. Nowadays, the fuel price is so cheap, maybe 2 rounds. Well, maybe 2 rounds on the same quantity, same pricing of fuel, but your fuel tank size does not change with fuel price. So Ahmad Mian said, BMW is really a good performance car, but one thing is there is engine gasket leak problem. Other than that, really a more fun car to drive than the others. depends on which engine you're referring to, I suppose, but I would say if it's a known problem, it is a problem that everybody faces, then it is actually not a scary problem, because if it's a known issue, it is something that mechanics out there will know how to fix. Okay, it is only if the car faces unpredictable set of problems. Car A versus car B versus car C, right? Totally different issues between one and another. That is when it gets scary, because you do not know what's going to hit you when. But in the case of BMWs, right? Say my E39, for example, the problems associated with that car is so well documented, it's so predictable that every time when I go to the mechanic, I'm always able to tell beforehand that, okay, now you look out for this, and that's it. So that is how I stay ahead of the curve. Sometimes there are things I miss out, but those things that I miss out, right? It's like, it's probably something that slipped my mind, but it doesn't catch me by surprise. Okay, like that one time I was faced with a coolant leak. I was like, it's not something surprising, because BMWs are known to be weak with their cooling system. It happens. Okay, cooling problems happens not just with the E39 but BMWs in general. It's a common issue. But yeah, you just have to be prepared. You just have to be alert. You just have to watch out for the symptoms and be ready to fix it properly. Not just take your chances, or settle for half big fixes. If you know there is a problem, attack the problem proactively, and the car will 90% of the time serve you well. So Ian Kunyu asks, may I know what extra accessory did you add to the Recaro 01 for infants less than 6 months at 5 minutes 30 seconds in the video, brand and where to buy? Okay, this is referring to this is an old video of mine when I was reviewing the Recaro 01 360 degree swivel child seat that I used. Bought that with when my eldest daughter was about 6 months old, and at that time she was a bit too small for the child seat, so we put some padding inside there to hold her into place. Honestly, I can't remember what it was, but it was not an original Recaro accessory. Something that you can buy from baby shops. Okay, so Mr. Stemanov commenting on my BMW E39. Oh, this is the one, my video on showing the instrument cluster of my E39. The temperature gauge does not read particular temperature when it's straight up, but it is considered as operating temperature, at least on my M62, which is the V8 engine. The gauge is straight between 75 and 115 Celsius. Yes, that is, if you guys don't know about it, that is something a bit scary about the E39's temperature gauge, because the gauge, right, always points dead straight, but when it points dead straight, right, it represents a wide range of temperatures. So when you see that gauge moving towards the red zone, the engine is already overheating. It's not on the way to overheat, it's already overheated, and by that stage, right, you should chances are, especially if you're driving the M54 engine, chances are there is some permanent damage done, and you need a new engine in the process. So that part is a bit scary, which is why it's always important, check the coolant, okay? Check your coolant levels regularly. And for those, if you are driving the cars with the same instrument cluster as mine, if you are worried that your car may, for whatever reason, be overheating, you can access the hidden menus. Actually has a digital temperature gauge, temperature readout, which you can monitor, okay, the temperature to the exact degree Celsius. That way you know how hot your engine is running. By right, the E39's engine, the M54 it should be running at about 95 degrees Celsius. the coolant temperature should be about 95 degrees Celsius. Okay, if it rises say to 98, 99, you've got to be careful. Yuvaraj Ponusami commented on my Honda City Hybrid review. You didn't mention the Prius as most reliable hybrid car. Yeah, well, it is. So Tengku H commented on my Persona review. The front passenger and driver doors look ugly, otherwise nice. Well, here's the thing about the Persona. The doors and the front fender and the bonnet, these metal work, they are exactly the same as the Aurizn. Even the rear doors between the Persona and the Aurizn, right? The window frame, okay, between the Aurizn and the Persona are different, but they are actually, the door itself, the lower door itself is actually exactly the same. They share the same door card molds, only thing different color. But I think the pattern, the stamping, right, outside the Personas has a sharper crease line on the door than the Aurizn, but if essentially they are the same. I believe they are interchangeable, so maybe that's why the proportions don't look quite right, because the design team was constrained to use those panels from the Aurizn to fit into a car that has a completely different profile, and hence that's why maybe the Persona looks a bit awkward because of that. So Isaac Tan asked me about the S-Max. Bro, why didn't you check the misaligned replace tail light before signing the acceptance sheet? Well, you see, the thing is that because of the ongoing social distancing, right, what happened was that the car was handed to me, the keys were handed to me at the counter, and the car was parked under the basement, so we made our way. I walked down there on my own. To me, it was in the basement, it was dark, I didn't care to stay too long there, plus I had other things to do at the time, so I just wanted to quickly get home so that I can shower, right, and get on with my day. So but it's okay, because I've already alerted the service center. They've informed me that they will check and they will rectify the issue the next time I head over there. So it's to me it's not something that is that cripples my usage of the car. It's not something that will leave me stranded by the roadside. So I'm just happy to live with it for the time being. But I've asked them to correct it at the next visit. So yeah, to me, as far as I'm concerned, I have no issues. So Sudo Nano commented, had the same sluggish shifts on my Land Rover initially. Once SDAC flashed the software, I think you drive an Evoque, right, if I remember correctly. The Evoque with the 6-speed automatic before they switched to the ZF 9-speed. So once SDAC flashed the software, it ran fine ever since. Seems like the AWF21 transmission tends to take a longer time to adapt to more enthusiastic driving. Probably. Perhaps the previous user of my car. Now, my S-Max was from the SDAC Juru branch, so maybe it was assigned to a manager, I think. It could have been a manager's car. Maybe the manager was a gentle driver, and as a result, the car was behaving. As a result, the transmission was a bit sluggish in its shifts, a bit slow in its response. But I have to say, after the recent service, the car overall just felt miles better to drive. Okay, the throttle response has improved. The transmission kickdown response has improved. Still feels a bit heavy when going up hills, but even my wife noticed that the car generally felt lighter ever since. So definitely the software updates that they put into the engine control system made a difference, and overall I'm quite happy with how the car has returned to me. So Noriza asked me, after MCO fully lifted, can you make a walk around video of the Sun W Auto CT please? really hope that you can walk into their showrooms. Consists of Hyundai, Ford, Jaguar, Land Rover, and BMW. Actually, there were plans to do that. In fact, I heard that they actually planned a massive launch, one-day launch of the whole thing, but because of MCO, tak jadi. But yeah, definitely, I plan to visit there again and show you guys that place. So stay tuned for that. Okay, I think that one I'll wait after the CMCO is lifted. Then only I'll head over there, because otherwise you need to make an appointment before you go. So Nicholas Leong asking if he should go for the Michelin PS4, the Continental MC6 with his next tire change. Both are great. Both are great tires. I used the MC6 on my E39 before this. Very good all-round tires, but I had them removed because because just before Enduro GT came in and sponsored us with a set of GT tires, so swap those in. Swap the MC6 out for a set of GTs, and my feedback at that time, right, when I went from the MC6 to the GT, I felt that the GTs were actually quieter than the MC6, almost comparable levels of grip, decent wet performance as well. The one thing about the MC6 that I wasn't very convinced about was its wet performance, because I've been accustomed to driving PS3 levels of grip. I have PS3s in the Waja, I had PS3s in the Persona before that. Yeah, so I'm accustomed to that level of grip. Then when I went to the MC6, it was like, the wet grip wasn't as good. So then, of course, after that, the sponsored set of GTs came into the car. Then recently, I had that puncture on my left rear tire, so I swapped the rear pairs with PS4s. So I'm guessing maybe 6 months, a year down the road, when the fronts wear out a bit more, I'd swap them with PS4s as well. So Real Loud 883R asked me a car buying question. 05 Accord 3.0 V6 or Volvo S40 2.45 cylinder. Wow. Both these are extremely rare choices to make. I would say, and both are in a sense not the preferred options, preferred variants of the respective models. I mean with the Accord, people normally will go for the 2.4 or the 2.0, and also similarly with the S40, most people generally would go for either the T5 turbo, or the later 2-liter NA version with the power shift. But these two are noteworthy for being rare. I would say go for the Volvo. Yeah, go for the Volvo. You still get, I mean, a 5-cylinder engine is still more distinctive than a V6. Okay, I don't think the S40 is I don't think the Accord 3.0 is very much faster. So why pay that significant jump in road tax over the S40 2.4? Alright, so in this particular comparison, I think I would go for the S40. So NYC asks, from user's point, touchscreen controls is alright if the driver makes adjustments when the vehicle is at a standstill. Otherwise, it can be quite distracting and dangerous when your backseat passengers request to adjust the volume or aircon, fan, speed and coolness while on a drive. How Honda USA decided to bring back the volume knob to their lineup is also another example. Yeah, that's true, but I think now also most cars come with steering mounted controls, so that is one thing. Yeah, but believe me, I personally prefer buttons as well, if you ask me. But what I am saying is that I think inevitably car makers would just choose to go to touchscreen, would just want to go more and more into touchscreens, because they will realize that as the cost of making touchscreens come down, it becomes it becomes at the same time cheaper yet perceived more expensive solution to put a touchscreen there versus to engineer actual physical buttons. And you know, let's say like some cars, they have certain features but they delete others, right? So you have to put that kosong button there as well. With a touchscreen, you don't have to do that. All right, so it's basically you just you just don't display the switch there. Okay, so simple. So yeah, I think in the sense that in that sense, touchscreens will be the preferred solution for car makers in the future. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I can see why it is going to be the more attractive option. Hi guys, something to share with you is big. It is an interior design competition open to interior designers across Malaysia. Interior designers are asked to translate Volvo's new generation design language into a home space. You look at what Volvo car been doing with their interior, take that thinking, apply it in the design of a home.
I don't deny there's some strange evolutionary process going on, but mankind won't be destroyed. The fact that you and I are working here today is evidence.
This year, we are back as the Volvo Car and Aurizn EcoDesign Challenge by Duduk. The stakes are higher. Naturally, because of the ongoing coronavirus crisis, we can't bring you to Sweden anymore. But we are going to bring you business instead. 4 million ringgit worth of design and furnishing contracts to be won. And the submission process is very easy. Just take whatever completed projects that your firm has already done, post that on your official Facebook or Instagram, tag us. The specific instructions are posted online. You can go and check it out. Link is in the description section below. Tag us in your post and we'll select 12 finalists. These 12 finalists will be given the layout of an actual Duduk by EcoWorld property unit, which is 1,000 square feet large. You guys need to propose a design to furnish that 1,000 square feet space within a stated budget. If you are chosen among the winners, you will be contracted by EcoWorld to translate whatever is it that you have designed into actual units that homeowners will be able to buy. Not like just 1 unit, 2 unit, but the whole floor. Share it with your friends and we can't wait to show you more. Stay home, stay safe. Okay, Simon Lau said, too bad there's no V60 T8 in Malaysia. Already gotten the S90 T8, would be nice to add that in my garage. Well, Volvo tried with the V90 T8 and that didn't get a very good response, so I guess they've given up. Anonym commented on my MyV 1.3 review. Upgrade 1.5 advanced rim to 16-inch handling become better. Yes, I assume it would better the handling, but I believe there would be a price to pay on the car's comfort, fuel consumption, and maybe even top speed. So if you're speaking from experience, I like to hear your thoughts if any of those things are compromised. But yeah, and also more costly tire replacement costs. But at the end of the day, it's a matter of preference, right? If you like bigger rims and you can deal with the trade-offs that they entail, then by all means go for it. So I upsized my E39's rims from the factory 16s to 17s as well, but That was because the factory size, the choice of tires were very, very limited with the original 16s, as Chris V discovered recently with his car. So that's why I decided to go for 17s. That ensures that I have a healthy selection of good performance tires every time. So Rian Lau commented on my S60 video, S60 CKD video. Great looking car, but pity the tight rear seats. Didn't help. I had to clamber in and out of them as well, but a well-built car nonetheless. Well, it is in that cars of that segment, whether you're talking about the C class or 3 Series or S60, right? They are all tight at the back. Okay, they are all very limited in space at the back one. So that's because that is how that segment is in Europe. It's more of a C segment equivalent, right? It's more of an equivalent to your Civic, your Corolla segment. Okay, but because of its pricing, people see it as an upgrade from your Accord and the Camry. But in reality, size-wise, you're looking at something closer to the realms of the Civic, Corolla. But in the case of the S60, all of the S60 rivals are rear-wheel drive, except the Audi A4. So those cars are packaged to accommodate a long transmission tunnel, and for the longest time, these cars, the 3 Series and the C class in particular, even the A4, because the A4 has a strong heritage in Quattro, right? These cars are already packaged in with the mindset that consumers accept that they will be cramped at the back because they have to because they want that mechanical layout of these cars. So the S60, yes, even though it's predominantly front-wheel drive, but because it competes in the same segment, inevitably the design, and layout of that car is also somewhat influenced by its peers. So all cars in that segment, right, is really not spacious at the back one. Okay, so Zal Rashad Zalfitri commented my S60 CKD video. BMW still don't want to bring in the M340i. I don't think they'll do it CKD, but if you go to the dealer with a checkbook and say that you want to order a 340i, they will probably quote you a price. But are you going to be ready to pay double the price of a 320i for an M340i? So Saber Cruz commented on on my old used car review at Wern's, where I did a walk around of a used 523i F10. No electric tailgate. Well, actually the F10 523 was very, very kosong one. In fact, the F10's equipment levels the 523, I'm not sure if it even had reverse camera. I'm pretty sure it did not have keyless entry, because even the 528 did not have keyless entry. Yeah, so the 523, if you compare it with the 535, very, very kosong car. This is somebody commenting on a video which I advise people never pay your car's deposit in cash. Azlandin says, my advice, anything about money, go to the dealership and pay there. Try not to pay outside, only if you have witnessed or video the whole transaction. Yep. A good reminder, guys, when you buy cars from a dealership, be it new, be it used, don't pay cash, not by banknotes. Always use check or bank transfer to the dealership's official account. Okay, don't pay to the salesman directly. I mean, you can give the salesman the check, but the check should, if you write a check, it should be addressed to the dealer, because the thing is that, right, there have been cases, and I have friends who run dealerships. They tell me of cases where their salesman collect money from customer, collect cash booking from the customer, issue fake receipts, then cabut. So yeah, and the thing is that there is nothing the dealership could do at that time. So as a result, those poor fellas, their money burned out like that. So yeah, if you are paying booking for your car, use credit card, use check, use bank transfer, pay direct to the dealership's accounts. See, because that way once the money flow into the company's accounts, it is recorded, the transaction is recorded, they have to account for it. They can't lari anymore. So Donald Leo commented on my S60 video, what justification given to remove those CBU features? So the S60 CKD did away with folding rear seats, did away with a 12-volt rear socket, the 12-volt socket in the boot. So what justification? Well, how often do you use that 12-volt socket in the boot? Rear folding seats, yes, honestly, that's something I admit I would miss. And between that and park assist, I would take 60/40 rear folding seats any day. But see, the thing is that car makers, when they decide on what features to include or exclude in the car, they always think about how best, whether would that feature entice the customer to pay the advertised price and enable them to earn their targeted profit. So someone in Volvo Car Malaysia must have reasoned that Malaysian consumers would value at that price active parking assist versus 60/40 split folding. Okay, it's I mean, at the end of the day, these guys, car companies, they are a for-profit business. They think of the best way to make a profit for themselves, at the same time to keep their customers happy. Okay lah, so that's all the videos that that's all the questions and answers that I'll be doing for this video. Yeah, so stay tuned for my next one. Probably going to do another throwback review. I've not decided what I'll be re-looking again, but yeah, definitely will be picking something that I feel will be of interest to you guys. Okay, so once again, to all our Muslim friends, Selamat Hari Raya Idul Fitri, and rest of you guys, not rest of you guys, everybody, stay home, stay safe. See you in the next video.